Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Hidden Oracle, which is book 1 in the Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan. If you guys don't know, this book takes place after all the events of Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Heroes of Olympus series, so you have to read all 10 books of those, unless you just don't care about being spoiled, because this book will spoil you about everything that happens in all of those books. I'm going to keep this spoiler free, so you don't have to worry about me spoiling any of the books from the previous 2 series if you're worried about getting spoilers, but you kind of just want to check out what this book's about. You are more than welcome to stay. Being the Trials of Apollo, this book follows Apollo, who is the Greek god of the sun and of music and plagues, medicine, a whole bunch of other stuff. He's my favorite Greek god, if you guys did not know. But in the beginning of this book, Zeus is mad at him for things that have happened in the previous series, and so he decides to turn Apollo into a mortal boy, and Apollo has to deal with losing his powers and has to go through these trials in order to get his powers back and become a god again. At the beginning of his journey as a mortal, he runs into a demigod named Meg, who I believe is 12 years old and has been living without any help from Camp Half-Blood, which, if you guys don't know, is the camp that all of the demigods go to train and stuff and make sure that they are getting the skills that they need to be able to survive in the real world. She hasn't had any assistance, and so they team up and they go on their adventure together. One thing I really liked was that Apollo is super whiny, which is exactly how you'd think a god would be after losing their powers. They are so privileged, and so they're not used to having to do things for themselves. They can snap a finger and teleport across the world, and so for them not to be able to do that and have to walk around on 2 legs is a struggle for them, and it's just really funny to see how upset he was when he could not do things that he used to be able to do. And it was fun to see the other characters giving Apollo a hard time for being so weak and not being able to keep up with his children. That being said, however, there was some whiny things that I really didn't like. Rick Riordan really focuses on 2 specific myths that are about Apollo. I mean, he does go into some other myths about Apollo, but he's just really focused on these 2 myths, and I was just like, okay, I get it. Those are probably 2 of the most well-known myths about Apollo, and so I just didn't find it very interesting, and the fact that he kept talking about it over and over and over again, I was just like, let's move on. We know Apollo is terrible with romance. Come on. And he made it into this huge deal when I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, Apollo falls in love all the time, so I didn't see how these 2 specific mythology cases were that much different than any of Apollo's other failed romances, so I don't know, I just didn't like that it focused on those 2 so much. I also like that we got to go back to Camp Half-Blood and just kind of stay at Camp Half-Blood for a while. I feel like in his later books in the other series, he took them everywhere, so many places, and I just liked seeing the camp and seeing all the people and seeing the different cabins and just having some fun in the camp. And so I really like that we go back to the camp and they kind of stick around for a little bit longer. Although, because it's a camp, they do camp activities as like a whole camp and they get teams and stuff. The activity that's in this book literally makes 0 sense on why it would be allowed to happen. Like, it just, I didn't understand why it was a thing, but you know, suspension of belief for that case. So that kind of pushed me out just a little bit because I didn't really understand why that would happen, but yeah, it did happen in the book. I think one of my worries about going into this book was that Rick Riordan would start to become formulaic in the problems that he would present in his books and then how they are solved. But the problem in this book, which I will not say because I'm not going to spoil anything, is so different. I absolutely loved the concept that he does. The main antagonists of this book are so different than any of the other books that he has written, so I really enjoyed seeing that, and I'm really excited to see how that plays out in the future books of this series. So yeah, A+ for that idea. Really liked that. I'm a big fan of what he did with his Greek world. I had a little bit of a problem with the ending of the 2nd series, the Heroes of Olympus series, because I didn't really get that catharsis, that feeling where all the characters were headed. And so in this book, you do find out where all the characters end up, and you get to see what they're doing now. And I like that they don't play huge roles in this book. They're there, and you see some of them, not all of them, but it's not about them anymore. It's about this new story and these new characters, and I really liked that. I am glad that Rick has kind of decided to let some of his characters grow a little bit outside of the story and kind of move their own directions while bringing it back with some new characters, some fresh perspectives, you know, just mixing it up. overall, I did enjoy this book. It's not my favorite Rick Riordan book that I've read. It's not my favorite of his Greek mythology books that I've read, so I ended up giving it 4 stars, but I still think it was really fun. And I do really recommend all the Percy Jackson books. I love them. I will continue to read any mythology book that Rick Riordan ever writes because I just love them. I think they're amazing. So yeah, definitely recommend it, but I just didn't love it as much as I loved the first 2 series. I forgot to say this at the beginning of this video, but where you get your book determines what you get in the back of the book. So I chose Target because Target is a little bit cheaper, and also it comes with a map inside, and so you get to see, you know, where different things are. Here's the big house, here is the combat area, the strawberry fields are down here, and so I really liked seeing where everything was located in respect to other things, and it has just like a key down here, so it definitely labels it so you don't have to just guess. But yeah, I really liked that, and so I decided to get the Target one. And I know Walmart has a bookmark in the back. I don't know what the other 2 have. I also forgot to say that this book is written in first person. So how the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series was in Percy's perspective in first person, and then the Heroes of Olympus series, I want to say it was third person, but it had different POVs, but this one is back to one POV with Apollo. So yeah. So that's going to be my review on The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you are interested in reading The Hidden Oracle. Have you read it before? What did you think? And I will talk to you guys next time.